Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the English Daily Book Summary YouTube channel. In order to not stop learning, listen to an English book summary every day for free.
Russ Harris, The Confidence Gap, a guide to overcoming fear and self-doubt. Confidence is often treated like a game. The problem is, most of us have been handed the wrong rule book. We've been taught by well-meaning parents, self-help guides, and pop culture that fear is a weakness. We must crush fear and self-doubt. This advice orders and chases confidence. While some of these tactics might work for a little while, they invariably keep us stuck in the confidence trap, an endless cycle of trying to fix fear instead of learning how to work with it. This blink offers something completely different. An approach that challenges those old ideas and invites you to play by new rules. At the heart of this method is Acceptance and Commitment Training, or ACT, a series of powerful science-backed steps that help you connect with your core values and use them to guide your actions. As a result, you'll build psychological flexibility, the ability to stay grounded, make smart choices, and move forward, even when life feels messy. Ready to transform your life? Then let's go. Reassessing your priorities. If you want to build more confidence, start by asking yourself, what does having confidence actually look like in my life? Maybe you're like Dave, a physiotherapist in his 50s, finally ready to write the novel he's been dreaming about for years. Or Claire, a shy receptionist in her 30s, working up the courage to start dating again. Then there's Phil, an athlete struggling to stay calm under pressure during his tennis matches. No matter your situation, the question remains the same. If you had unlimited confidence, how would your life be different? How would you move, speak, and treat yourself and others? What long neglected goals would you finally pursue, and which fears would you leave behind? Sitting with these questions help you uncover what truly matters, your core values. Many self-help books emphasize goals when talking about confidence and motivation. We'll explore goal setting here too, but always through the lens of what drives you at a deeper level. That's because there's a key difference between goals and values. See, goals are things you complete. Get the promotion, win the match, lose the weight. Values, on the other hand, are ongoing. They're about how you live your life every single day. Being kind, acting with integrity, showing curiosity, or staying determined. Goals might get ticked off a list, but values are part of who you are, moment by moment. And living by your values, even when goals may feel off in the distance or out of reach, provides its own deep sense of fulfillment that can keep you going. While we'll be focusing on values, we also need to tackle a common misconception that holds many of us back. The idea that we need to feel confident before we take action. In reality, that's like putting the cart before the horse. Confidence isn't something that magically appears. It's something we build through action. The formula is simple but powerful. Take action first, and confidence follows. It's through practice, sometimes messy, sometimes imperfect, that skills sharpen and start to feel natural. This is the confidence cycle. Practice, apply, assess, adjust. Repeat that process guided by your values, and confidence will start to feel like second nature. In the next sections, we'll break down exactly how this works. But first, let's bust another big myth about that old adversary, fear. Forging a new relationship with fear. You've just learned that taking action, practicing, and actually doing things is what builds confidence. But that often means stepping out of your comfort zone. This brings us to one of the biggest hurdles we all face, fear. The first thing to realize is that those butterflies in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, they're totally normal. Anytime you step into unfamiliar territory, whether it's public speaking, asking someone out, or trying something new, fear is your brain's natural response. It's your fight or flight system kicking in saying, hey, this could go wrong. And honestly, it could. You might stumble, forget your lines, or even embarrass yourself. But that's part of the process. Learning from those moments is essential to building confidence. And here's the thing. There's no magic switch to turn off fear. The boldest people, CEOs, soldiers, surgeons, performers, athletes, they all feel it too. The key difference is they don't let fear stop them. They use it. They channel that energy into something productive. Fear triggers adrenaline. It's a burst of energy that can be unsettling at first, but also exciting. It's the kind of energy that pushes you to do things you didn't even know you were capable of. So let's go ahead and bust that myth right now. Confidence isn't about getting rid of fear. Confident people feel fear just like everyone else. What sets them apart is that their confidence is built on accepting fear, embracing the fact that mistakes will happen, and still taking action despite it all. If you can start viewing fear as energy to channel rather than something that holds you back, you're on your way to building real, lasting confidence. Learning the language of acceptance. Here's something interesting to think about. A 2009 study by Canadian psychologists found that repeating positive self-statements can actually make people with low self-esteem feel worse. Statements like, "I am lovable," or "I will succeed," just triggered more negative thoughts and internal pushback. This shows how negative thoughts, like fear, are simply part of the human experience. So forget what you've read about erasing negative thoughts or deleting bad beliefs. That's not how our brains work. Self-acceptance is what really matters, not self-esteem. The goal should be to build new mental habits that can help balance things out. It's kind of like learning a new language. You might become fluent in Spanish, but your native language doesn't disappear. Both can coexist. And it's the same with old and new thought patterns. So let's stop viewing negative thoughts as the problem. The real issue is when we get hooked by them, tangled up so much that we get trapped. There's a simple, sustainable way to deal with negative thoughts. Accept and diffuse. Different methods work for different people, but the core strategy is to step back and see negative thoughts for what they really are. Words in your head. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's true. Diffusing is about making this distinction clear in the moment. It's about noticing, naming, and neutralizing the thought. So the next time your inner critic says, "I'm not smart enough," or "I'm a loser," try reframing it by telling yourself, "I'm having the thought that I'm not smart enough." Because that's all it is, a thought, not a fact. You can also neutralize these thoughts by thinking of them as a broadcast from Triple F Radio, where there's nothing but fear, flaws, and failure 24/7. Or turn those self-critical messages into a silly song in your head. Try singing them to the tune of "Happy Birthday," or visualize the words bouncing around on a computer screen. It may sound a little strange, but these tricks help you realize how insignificant and powerless those thoughts really are. There are endless ways to play with this. Picture your negative thoughts as scrolling movie credits, floating clouds, or leaves drifting along a stream. The goal is to stop taking them so seriously and simply let them pass by. Confidence through engagement. Think about a time when you were in the same room as a confident person. Did you notice that they had a certain presence? Confident people are truly engaged when they're talking to you. They don't get distracted or lost in their own thoughts. They're making the most of the moment. This is another important piece of the building confidence puzzle. You've got to be present, like fully there, whether you're chatting with a friend, playing a sport, or working on a project. This is where engagement and mindfulness come into play. Confident people are masters at noticing what's around them. The sights, sounds, smells, and sensations. They're not mind readers or immune to fear. They're just really good at staying present. Of course, this isn't always easy. Your mind will try to throw distractions, doubts, and random thoughts your way, and that's totally normal. The trick to mindfulness is learning to let those thoughts float by without getting caught up in them. Like learning any new skill, mindfulness takes practice, but over time, it gets easier. This isn't just about intense focus. It's about cultivating your attention with openness, curiosity, and flexibility. Be open to what's happening, even if it's uncomfortable. Be curious, like a kid, discovering something new for the first time. When you're not fully engaged, it's like walking around all day with your head buried in a book. You're missing what's right in front of you. That's what happens when we get lost in our heads. Engagement means putting the book down and showing up for real life. One simple way to start: try mindful breathing. Find a comfortable spot, sit back, and breathe deeply. Notice the air moving in and out of your nostrils. The rise and fall of your chest. Your mind will wander, and when it does, gently guide it back. Over time, you'll train yourself to stay focused, calm, and present. That's where true confidence begins. Values in 4 areas of life. The previous sections covered a lot of ground on how to rethink confidence, accepting fear and negative thoughts without letting them control you, and continuing to practice being engaged despite them. We also touched on the importance of values in setting your goals, which is where that confidence cycle we mentioned earlier comes in. Now let's break it down. The first step is to practice the skills you want to be confident in. Then apply those skills in real-world situations with real-world results. Assess those results, and finally, adjust your approach as necessary. It's a simple process, but it can feel uncomfortable, especially when your goals seem just out of reach. You'll likely face doubt, frustration, and boredom, feelings we all try to avoid. But here's the thing: if your actions are driven by your values and you're working towards something that truly matters to you, it becomes easier to push through the discomfort and keep going. So let's get clear on what your values are. Break your life down into 4 key areas: love, work, play, and health. Love is about your relationships, family, friends, those who matter most. Work covers your job, volunteer efforts, education, and studies. Play is your downtime, those hobbies, relaxation, and entertainment. And health includes everything you do to take care of yourself, like exercise, mental well-being, emotional balance, and spiritual care. Now, take a moment to think of someone who represents each area of your life. For health, that person would be you. Ask yourself, what would I want them to think of me? What words would I love for them to use when describing me? Would I want them to see me as warm, open, or genuine, dedicated, generous? Jot these words down and use them as the basis for understanding the things you value most in life. Next, think about some goals you can set for each of these areas of your life. Use your values to guide you in choosing goals and the small, meaningful steps to get there. Break them down into short-term, medium-term, and long-term milestones. And remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. Staying the course. In this final section, let's explore a few more practices to help you stay on track as you pursue a value-driven path and build confidence along the way. Building confidence and going after your goals means stepping outside your comfort zone, which can naturally stir up some anxiety. When that happens, keep the acronym NAME in mind. It ties together a lot of what we've been discussing. NAME stands for Notice, Acknowledge, Make Space, and Expand Awareness. First, notice the fear without judging yourself for feeling it. Then acknowledge it with a little self-talk, like, here's that fear again, instead of letting it define you. Next, breathe into it and make room for it. And finally, reconnect with the world around you. Over time, this whole process can happen in a space of a single breath. Fear is like a wild horse. Give it space, tame it, and channel that energy. We can also break down fear to better understand it. Fear stands for fusion, getting tangled up in unhelpful thoughts, excessive goals, biting off more than you can chew, avoidance of discomfort, a common temptation, and remoteness from values, losing sight of what truly matters. The antidote here is another 4-letter acronym, DARE. That involves diffusion, stepping back from your thoughts, acceptance of discomfort, making room for those nerves, realistic goals, being kind to yourself, and embracing values, remembering what truly matters to you. Motivation isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or feeling inspired. It's about commitment. Take action first, and the good feelings will follow. So the next time you think, I don't feel motivated, ask yourself, am I willing to do this anyway because it matters? And if the answer is yes, then go for it. Don't chase perfection. Learn from the missteps, celebrate the small victories, focus on steady growth, trust yourself, and keep moving forward with mindful action. Confidence isn't about pretending to have it all together. It's about showing up over and over again to fully engage with the work that's important to you. And in doing that, you're already succeeding. The main takeaway of this blink to the confidence gap by Russ Harris is that real confidence isn't about eliminating fear. It's about following your dreams despite it. This is where acceptance and commitment training, ACT, comes in, blending mindfulness, values, and committed action to help you move forward. Confidence builds through repeated action, constant reassessment, and ensuring your goals align with what truly matters to you. It involves stepping outside your comfort zone, even when fear and self-doubt creep in. Techniques like mindfulness and diffusing negative thoughts can also boost your psychological flexibility, helping you stay present, harness fear as fuel, and maintain your commitment to your values-driven path. Okay, that's it for this blink. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to leave us a rating. We always appreciate your feedback. See you soon.